Welcome to Control Alt Society podcast. Today we are taking a deep dive into, well, what might just be the single most significant strategic move we've seen in the tech space this year. OpenAI has released ChatGPT Atlas. And we're not talking about just, a new feature or some kind of plugin. No, this is a full, dedicated web browser with ChatGPT built right into its core.
Yeah, it's a major step.
Launched October 21st, 2025, starting on macOS initially. And the premise, it sounds simple, but it's really audacious. Atlas is designed to stop being the separate tool you go to. Instead, it wants to become, the operating system for how you interact with the entire web.
It's aggressive. Definitely an aggressive move. OpenAI, they're positioning this as a rare opportunity to really rethink the internet experience.
Right.
They're calling Atlas the user's true super assistant. Now remember, last year, adding search into the ChatGPT chat interface, that turned out to be hugely popular.
Oh yeah, everyone was using it.
But they get it, right? The browser, that's the crucible. That's where they put it. All of your work, tools, and context come together.
Makes sense.
So our mission today is really to test that bold claim. We've got sources painting a picture of genuinely revolutionary features. I mean, stuff that feels almost sci-fi.
All right.
But we've also got some very pointed critiques. People asking, hang on, is this deep integration actually necessary? Or is it, just an attempt to grab market share, maybe grab user data from the big players?
Okay, so we need to weigh that up. We'll start by looking at those potentially game-changing capabilities, browser memories, and this agent mode they're touting.
Yep.
But then we're going to get straight into the tough questions. Is this integration worth the friction? And what about the security trade-offs? Because those seem considerable.
Definitely need to cover those.
Right. So think about it. For, 20 years, the web browser experience has always started with a search box. You open Chrome, Edge, whatever.
And you type a query, expect links back, standard stuff.
Exactly. Atlas is designed to completely shatter that. When you open a new tab in Atlas, your starting point isn't Google search, it's ChatGPT.
Right there. It's a fundamental shift. It's not just about faster searching, it's positioning the AI, the conversation, as the primary gateway, not the search index.
And the goal, I guess, is to kill that whole clunky process we all do, right? Copying an article.
Oh yeah, the copy-paste dance. Copy it, paste in the chat window, ask your question, copy the answer back out. It's friction.
Atlas wants to integrate that AI memory, its capabilities, directly into your web flow, no more back and forth.
Seamless is the goal.
And the new tab page itself is interesting. You can ask a question, sure, or type a URL like normal, but the way it presents results...
How so?
Well, it gives you the chat response, up front, but it also keeps the traditional stuff, organizing web links, images, videos, news, into separate tabs right there.
So it's trying to bridge both worlds, keep the familiar structure while leading with the AI.
Seems like it. But look, the success of this whole thing, it really comes down to its unique features. So let's drill into those two big ones, browser memories and agent mode.
Okay, let's start with browser memories. This is arguably the most crucial layer of intelligence they're adding.
More than just history or cookies.
Oh, way beyond that. The key difference is that ChatGPT actively remembers the context, the intent, behind the sites you visit.
Okay.
And that knowledge then refines its chat responses later. It can also suggest logical next steps for you, like digging deeper into something, or even just finding that page you were looking at yesterday. Contextually.
Okay, the examples they shared here, I have to admit, they sound pretty compelling, like the college student one.
Yeah, tell me about that.
They used to have to flip between lecture slides and ChatGPT, maybe take screenshots to ask questions about the material.
We're at the friction again.
With Atlas and its memory, it supposedly understands the stuff on the screen instantly, so the AI can help with, knowledge checks without the student doing anything extra.
That makes sense. It sort of creates this cohesive research journal, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly you can ask these really specific contextual questions that span days of browsing.
Like the job search example. That was powerful.
Which one was that?
Find all the job postings I looked at last week across maybe 3 different sites, and then summarize the industry salary trends so I can prep for interviews.
Wow. Okay, that relies entirely on deep cross-session context. A standard browser just can't do that.
Exactly, but an AI tracking and integrating everything I browse, that immediately raises flags about data control, doesn't it?
It does. Big time. How much control do you, the user, actually have over these memories?
So what's OpenAI saying?
Well, according to their documentation, they claim control is comprehensive. Browser memories are optional, first off.
Okay, opt in or opt out?
Optional, so you can turn them off. And they're strictly private to your ChatGPT account. Users can apparently view them, archive them, delete them anytime in settings.
And clearing history.
If you clear your main browsing history, the link AI memories go to purged. Plus, there's a toggle in the address bar for specific sites, so if you don't want the AI reading, say, your bank portal or something,
You can block it site by site.
precisely, you retain that granular control.
Okay, that's memories now. Agent mode. This feels like the next level up. This is where Atlas shifts from just being smart to being agentic. Is that the right term?
That's the term, yeah. Agentic system. A system that can take delegated action for you. This is where you tell ChatGPT, and I quote, take action and do things for you right in your own browser.
Right. So this is the automation dream, basically.
Pretty much. It's in preview now for paying users plus Pro Business. And the scope of what it could do is, well, it's massive.
Like the dinner party example they keep using.
That's the classic one, yeah.
Mhm.
Give the AI a recipe, then ask it to find a local grocery store, go to the website, add all the ingredients to the cart, and order them to your house.
Okay, that's potentially very convenient. And for work.
Imagine telling it, okay, go open the last 5 team docs in our shared drive. Read them, then do some fresh competitive research on our top 2 rivals, and compile all that into a quick 3-point brief for the team meeting.
The time savings could be enormous there. How does it actually work mechanically? Does it just take over your mouse?
No, not quite like that. When you give it a complex task, it might ask for permission first, like okay to open these tabs or okay to click this button.
So there's a check-in.
Yes. Or you can manually trigger it using a specific agent mode button to kick off a workflow.
But, okay, here's the pushback. This ability to delegate powerful tasks, it sounds great, but how practical is it right now? And if Atlas is built on Chromium,
Meaning it can use existing Chrome extensions.
right, then how revolutionary is the underlying tech, really? Are we just paying a premium for a fancy AI layer on a standard browser core?
And that is the absolute crux of the skeptical viewpoint. It's a really valid challenge. Critics are saying, look, the basic stuff, summarizing an article, rewriting some code.
You can already do that with free extensions or just copying and pasting.
Exactly. So the critique we saw suggested this feels a bit like OpenAI doing things just because they can,
Oh.
without fully asking if they should.
An integration achievement, maybe, but not necessarily a practical utility leap.
That's the question. And the current user experience with agent mode seems to back that up, at least for now. There's significant friction.
How so? What are testers finding?
Early reports mention needing incredibly long, super detailed prompts to get complex tasks right. And often, the agent just pauses. It stops mid-task.
Requiring you to jump back in.
Yeah, forcing the user to constantly say things like, yes, carry on, or no, don't click that, try the other link. Constant hand-holding.
Which kind of defeats the purpose of automation.
It really undermines the core value proposition. Does typing out a paragraph-long prompt, then babysitting the agent, actually save time compared to just clicking the buttons yourself?
Like clicking the new email button versus prompting the agent to do it.
Precisely. If the friction level stays this high, that agentic convenience just evaporates and you won't get mass adoption.
And let's be real, while users are dealing with these frustrations, there's a huge strategic reason OpenAI is doing this, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. This is fundamentally an economic power play.
They want a piece of Google's pie.
A very large piece. OpenAI wants to, quote, wrestle some of that revenue dominance away from Google and Chrome. Google controls what, an estimated 90% of web revenue?
It's staggering.
It is. So this
Yeah.
isn't just about building a better browser. It's a battle for the default starting point of the user's intention online.
If you start your journey talking to Atlas instead of typing into Google,
Then OpenAI has fundamentally challenged the search engine's dominance as the primary interface to the web. That's the long game.
so the critics are basically saying, look, Atlas is technically solid. It's a proper written program based on Chromium, supports extensions, fine.
Technically competent, yes.
But it's missing that killer feature reliability. It doesn't yet give you that, that's exactly what I needed feeling that makes something spread like wildfire.
Not yet, anyway. Which brings us squarely to the most critical part of this whole discussion: safety and security.
Right. If we're delegating actions to a machine that can read our emails, browse our work stuff, maybe even access financial accounts, security isn't just a feature, it's everything.
It has to be foundationally secure.
So with a system that can potentially click buy or transfer funds for you, the security implications are massive. What has OpenAI actually built in to safeguard users?
They seem to recognize the gravity. They've implemented some pretty stringent controls. First off, Atlas itself cannot run code directly in the browser.
Okay, that's important.
It also can't download files to your computer or install extensions on its own.
Mhm.
And critically, it has zero access to other apps on your machine or your file system.
It's sandboxed strictly within the browser environment.
Exactly. Strictly siloed. They've also added smart monitoring.
Mm.
Atlas is designed to actively pause and require explicit user confirmation before the agent takes potentially sensitive actions.
Especially on certain types of sites.
Particularly financial institutions, yeah.
Mhm.
Or anywhere that might store credit card details. And for families, there are parental controls included. You can switch off browser memories and agent mode completely if needed.
That handles local machine safety, mostly. But what about the bigger picture? Is all my browsing history now feeding GPT-5?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Okay.
Their official stance is, by default, no.
Default is no training.
Correct. OpenAI explicitly states they do not use the content you browse within Atlas to train their models unless you actively opt in.
Even if you do opt in?
Even then, if a specific web page has already opted out of being crawled by their general web crawler, GPT bot, its content won't be used for training, even if you view it in Atlas while locked it in.
Okay, that's reasonably clear. But even with all those controls, the nature of having an agent act on your behalf must introduce new kinds of risks, right? Risks we haven't really dealt with before.
It absolutely does. There are novel security concerns here. The first risk is sort of mundane, operational risk.
Yeah.
The agent might just mess up a complex task because it's still early days. Annoying but fixable.
You okay?
The second risk is far more concerning. It involves malicious external attacks targeting the agent itself.
How would that work?
Agents are potentially vulnerable to something called hidden malicious instructions because the AI agent reads the web page's code to figure out what to do. A bad actor could embed instructions inside that web page, hidden in metadata, maybe in code comments, even using invisible characters the human eye wouldn't see.
But the AI reads it.
The AI reads it, and these hidden instructions could be designed to override what you ask the agent to do.
Okay, give me a concrete example. How could that be exploited?
Imagine you click a link, maybe from a phishing email, takes you to a seemingly harmless web page. But hidden in that page's code are instructions for the Atlas agent.
Like what?
Like, forward the last 3 documents you accessed in your work portal. Or, approve the pending $50 transaction on your banking tab.
Whoa.
And the agent, because it's reading instructions from the environment it's operating in, might just execute them, thinking they're valid, leading to data theft, unauthorized actions.
Okay, that's genuinely scary. So the responsibility falls entirely on the user to be incredibly vigilant.
It really does. You have to constantly weigh the convenience against this potential exposure. Users need to actively minimize their risk profile when using these powerful agent features.
What would that look like in practice?
Well, for starters, if you're using agent mode for something, maybe try not to be logged into your bank, your email, your company cloud drive, and other Atlas tabs simultaneously.
Minimize the potential blast radius if something goes wrong.
Exactly. Or maybe only use agent mode for general research tasks while you're completely logged out of sensitive accounts. It's about managing that attack surface.
So let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean for us, for you listening? Atlas, regardless of the current friction or risks, it clearly signals a major shift.
Definitely. It's an unambiguous move toward these agentic systems. The vision is delegation, not direct manipulation, as the future of how we use the web.
And it promises that deep integration, that convenience that traditional browsers just can't match on their own.
Yeah, and connecting it back to the bigger picture, the success or failure of Atlas, it isn't really just a technical question anymore. It feels more ideological. Can the sheer convenience of this deeply integrated AI agent overcome the current usability hurdles, the friction, and these new inherent security risks? That's the billion-dollar question. It's a fundamental battle for where your journey online begins. Is it a search box or is it a conversation?
Which leaves us and you with this final thought to chew on. If we embrace this future, if we agree to delegate routine, maybe even sensitive tasks like ordering groceries, which needs payment info, maybe logins, how do we as individuals draw the line? Where does the convenience of automation stop and the need for personal data control and security take absolute priority? Is the future adoption of these agents going to be driven by amazing new features? Or will it simply come down to the day the agent becomes perfectly boringly, reliably mistake-proof?